It's a common situation at work. An employee doing their job every day sees a clear and practical way to improve it, and yet the final decision to make that change belongs to someone else, often a manager. This common experience isn't an accident. It points to a fundamental question about how our work is actually structured.
So, it all starts with a simple observation. Someone is engaged in their work, performing a process, and through that direct experience, they spot an opportunity to make things better. And this isn't some abstract, theoretical suggestion. It's usually a very practical change based on the fine details of the work itself, aimed at making the task more efficient or more effective. But even though the idea comes directly from that hands-on experience, the power to approve it or reject it, well, that belongs to someone else, someone who may not perform that specific task themselves.
So why are these roles, the person doing the work and the person making the decision, so often separated? This separation is a planned, deliberate part of how the organization is designed. To understand it, we have to look at the system that separates the person who acts from the person who decides.
At its very core, this entire structure is based on a key distinction between two different functions. On one side, you have task execution. That's the actual performance of a job. And on the other, you have decision-making, which is the process of choosing a course of action. Organizations very often treat these as two separate and distinct areas of activity. The mechanism that actually enforces this separation is what's known as a formal authority structure. Now, authority is different from just simple power. It's power that is seen as legitimate. It's accepted. Within an organization, it is the recognized right of certain individuals to give direction and to make these decisions. This right to decide isn't something that's earned by being really good at a specific task. Instead, it's formally assigned to a position within the organization's structure. And this creates a really critical distinction. The authority to make a decision and the expertise to do the task are considered two separate things. Having one does not automatically grant you the other. This structure exists for some very specific reasons, and they're primarily related to accountability and the different types of information available at different levels of the organization. The basic principle is this: the person who is granted the formal authority to make a decision is also the person who is held accountable for its outcome. Think of it this way. A manager can delegate the performance of a task, but they can't delegate their ultimate responsibility for the results. Because they remain accountable, they also retain the final say in the decision-making process. These two roles also tend to operate with very different kinds of information. The person doing the work has deep, narrow knowledge that's focused on the specific details of their task. The person making the decision, on the other hand, is expected to have a broad, more general perspective that's focused on wider organizational goals. A decision that seems like the best choice for one specific task might actually have negative effects on other teams, or the budget, or even long-term plans. The decision-maker's role is to evaluate any proposed change against these broader goals. So when you look at all these elements together, they start to reveal the system's underlying logic and its real priorities. By centralizing decisions with people who have that broader view, the organization ensures that actions across different teams and departments stay aligned. This creates a much more predictable and coordinated way of operating. And this reveals the system's fundamental choice. It is structured to prioritize predictable coordination across the whole organization, even if that means sacrificing opportunities for smaller improvements at the individual task level. This is its core trade-off.